Hello and welcome to 4,000 and Counting, brought to you by Hurricane E-Bikes. I'm Watty and Mark is back. And today we are going to be looking ahead to the start of the NIHL National season. Going to have a little look at the Bees all the way through to the Tigers. And then maybe we'll chuck in some predictions at the end. Depends on how well we do getting through the review. But Mark, little couple of signings just to kick us off today. James Archer's just been announced at Leeds. Luke Johnson's gone back to Swindon. Any surprises there? I think the Arch one caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that at all. We literally just found out like 10
Seconds
minutes
ago.
ago.
Yeah, literally as we're just due to come on here. Mate, he's a sandpaper guy. He's tough, he can score, he can shut down. I mean, I imagine in his later years he's not going to be called upon to score on that roster, but he's going to be a pain in the ass to play against for the top lines of other teams. And I think it's a shrewd move by Aldi. And Luke Johnson, again, he's a depth guy. He's going to go in, give that third, fourth line down in Swindon some extra energy. He skates around. He's got some good wheels. It's funny. When Swindon announced him, they shared like, I don't know, 6 or 7 goals clipped all together. Luke was like, I'm glad they found all my career fucking goals and clipped them into one clip for me. So yeah, he's not going to be there to challenge Aaron Nell on the scoring title race, but he's going to offer Swindon a little bit of depth and some good speed, and he's an agitator, not in like the fighting sense, but he's in the corners first. He's on the forecheck hard. He's a pain in the ass to play against. So yeah, a couple of good signings there. What do you make of Arch going to Leeds?
Always been a big fan of Arch since he was in Peterborough, Manchester. Yeah, I just loved him in his Manchester days as well. Just really respect the way he played the game. Yeah, he's a fierce competitor. He'll drop the gloves when needed to. He added a lot of leadership qualities.
Mate, low key hit me top 5 hardest I've ever been hit, and I had like 80 fights in EPL. Top 5 ever been hit. James Archer's on that list. He hit me one night in Manchester. I got such bad deja vu that I mean, it was his own fault. He should probably just let me drop, but he hit me again and it woke me back up. So, the fuck was that? Like, oh. And then yeah, took over the fight and done a good job. But he's one of my favourites. Absolute
Definitely
beauty.
leave it.
He was so good at Peterborough.
Leeds with the Chiefs. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was so good in Peterborough when he was a young nipper. Right, let's get into this then. The Bees, they're the first up. Have they improved or not? Obviously, with the demise of the Bison, there's a few boys gone across there. Brendan Baird's gone. Josh Kelly's gone.
Shall we chuck in something that you've actually forgotten? I'm really surprised.
Who we forgot?
We've missed one big signing from this week.
Oh, gone. Who? Oh,
we took Peaks. Peterborough.
Yeah, Peaks. So long I forgot because we've been sitting on the info for fucking 2 months. I'd have to go back and listen to the John Dunbar one again. That obviously me and Johnny Dunbar did an interview a couple of weeks back. I don't know if we dropped a bollock and maybe announced that or something, because someone on Twitter went, "Well, didn't you listen to Dunbar's interview on 4,000 and Counting?" Like, because they were talking about being surprised that Peak signed. So I don't think that we dropped it that much, but maybe we hinted, or I don't know. But yeah, Craig Peacock. Yeah, Craig Peacock is back with the ice hockey vibes. No longer strictly a GM slash power forward, and he's going to put points up for fun in that league.
Yeah,
like, yeah, I know. I'm sure we'll get into it throughout the podcast, but arguably, and I'm not gonna tell Grubby what lines to play or anything, but you stick Mason Bidoff on a line with Dunbar and Craig Peacock, you might just have the best line in the league. You might just have the best line in the National League. And that's saying a lot when you look at who Leeds have got and their firepower. I don't know. That line works for me in my brain. I'm sure Grubby's thinking about it, whether he rolls with it or not. I don't think he'd be disappointed if he puts Dunbar, Mason Bidoff, and Craig Peacock on one line, because that is fire. That's got points written all over it. I mean, if that happens, one of them 3 will get 100 points this year.
Yeah, for sure. definitely looking at Leeds last year, their top line, they were all like 100 points each, weren't they?
Yeah,
A couple of
over
them
100,
under Brown and
over
Shudra.
100 points for Shudra, over 100 points for Brown. Did Brooksy end up getting to the 100? I think he was pretty close. Matty Hayward, he either got there or he was very close. Like there was a lot of guys on Leeds roster that was close to 100 points. Now, will Solway be as dominant as Leeds? No, they will not. Will they win as many games as Leeds? No, they will not. But will they be way over 500? I think they will. So it comes down to how many pucks they can put in a net of an evening. We know Leeds, they were dominant. They could put 5, 6, 7, and 8 past teams, no problem. That allows those star forward. You know what time it is? It's hurricane time. And Hurricane e-bikes have not only been helping the 4,000 and counting podcast for the last few months, they have now got a brand new relationship with the Oxford City Stars. Look out for the pictures of Mr. Petr Cech rocking out in front of the Hurricane e-bikes. We love to see the brand growing. We love to see important people like Petr getting involved, and it's good news for the Hurricane, which means it's good news for you people. Go further, go faster, get fitter. Subscribe today and take away parking charges, petrol charges, insurance charges. If you're in the city, ULEZ charges. Guess what? Hurricane, you don't need to worry about any of that. You also don't need to worry about servicing, parts, labor, warranty, because that's all taken care of. Don't believe me? Head over yourself. Go check out hurricane.ebikes right now. Tell them 4,000 and counting sent you. You'll get a little cheeky discount in there, and you can go and enjoy their fantastic bikes. As you know, everyone knows by now, I love the Fat Boy. I really want to get one, and there's lots and lots of good choice. So head over to hurricane.ebikes right now. Check out their products. Thank you, guys. It's to get there 100 points. The games are 2-1 and 3-2. No one's getting 100 points. Like this is what it's going to come down to. We're going to see high scoring. We're going to see low scoring games. There's going to be a good mix across the board. That's going to determine like who the top point scorers in the league are this year. And I mean, you'd be a mug to bet against Kieran Brown being the top scorer in the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until someone dethrones him, it's his title to lose. And I look around the league and there isn't another Kieran Brown in the league. So no. I will, and I mean, that's not really saying much, but I'll nail my colours to the wall early, and I'm going to have Brownie, barring injuries or anything unforeseen, he will be the top scorer in the National League once again. Although John Dunbar might be right up his ass there. 0.2, 3, it'll be close. At one stage we had the Malasinski and Kieran Brown battle going pretty tight. Brownie ended up pulling away a little bit towards the end there, but for a good portion of the season, that was the old English Rocket Richard. Don't know what we call it, the Kyle Amiot Award. But yeah, the Kyle Amiot Award, the Danny Marshall Assist Award, 18 assists on a weekend playing back in the old EPL. But yeah, it's exciting because there's lots of good players in the National League this year. We're going to go into go back into the Bees. So they've capitalized on the Bison going extinct for a season. We've got Brendan Baird, Josh Kelly, Aidan Doughty, Eddie Landsberg, Liam Morris. That is your lot from Basingstoke. They've also, British wise, they've also added Basingstoke's ex-import Balaz. Not that excited about that, not gonna lie. Watched him week in, week out in Basingstoke. When he was good, he was fucking really good, and when he wasn't, he was non-existent. I don't think they've picked up the best of what Basingstoke had to offer. I think that accolade probably goes to Romford in picking up Milton and Norcliffe. So the Bees off season for me, kind of a D-. It's not hot. They've lost Brendan Walkham, who was almost a 100-point guy last year. I don't look at anybody within that roster that's going to challenge getting that amount of points unless Dom himself is lights out. I mean, he's very good. Vanny, but we know he ain't playing above the fucking M25.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
so Vanny's not going to get 100 points playing 25 games or whatever it is he's going to actually play. Yeah, I don't know. Does Priest, sorry, have enough between the pipes to lead a team for 52 games? Because Brett Shepard's going to be right behind him. Again, not much experience at this level. There's lots of questions. There's more question marks than answers with the Bees roster, I think.
Yeah, there's glimpses of quality on the roster. There's a few guys you've named there. You'd sort of, yeah, I'll have them. No disrespect to the other guys. There's a few really, really, really strong players on that roster, but you've just lost Walcombe, who was, yeah, arguably one of the best imports last season. I like that
Mate,
they've got Josh Kelly and Knight.
Can you bring your mic towards you a little bit? Try that.
Hello.
Yep, that's good. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I like they've got Josh Kelly, they've got Nags, they've got Harvey Stead, a big fan. I like Liam Morris.
They've got a lot of good players. I just think
they've got some really, they have got some great players, but I just don't think they've got the, I always say this, strength in depth in comparison to when you see the other team.
Yeah. And in comparison to last year, are they better or worse? I would probably say similar.
Similar, yeah.
They need to go out and get another import. They can't roll into this season with 2 imports. They're nowhere near good enough to be contemplating going into this season with just 2 imports. They're going to need to spend some money. They're going to need to bring another import in. Otherwise, their chances of making the playoffs as it stands right now are very slim. Prior to this season, two teams missing out. This year it's 3. This year it's 3 teams that miss out, so it's that little bit harder to make that playoff run. And with the roster that they got right now, Bees are a miss for me.
Yeah, I've just given how strong the league is going. Yeah, it's going to be, maybe I eat my words. I think it's going to be a tough year. I wish them the best, but I think it's going to be a tough year.
Yeah, as do I. I got a lot of friends on the roster, but when I'm doing this, I'm doing it with a very literal, straight down the middle. I've got friends on all rosters in the league, so if I was to say you're all going to win, it's just not going to come true. So might as well treat it with the respect that it deserves. Let's move on to the Bristol Pitbulls. They brought in a couple of new goalies, Ben Norton and Matty Smith, all change at the back. New D-men. Reece Cochrane coming down from the Elite League and Fife. Lindsay's going to cross from Basingstoke. Jacob White says he's going to continue on a 2-way from Slough. I imagine we see him probably playing bulk of the games with the Pitbulls this year because he's ready. Obviously, great pickups bringing back Ed Bradley. They've added his kid brother Dan there with him, and they've gone with an import at the back as well. Tanner Butler. Excuse me, Tanner Butler. I like that they've gone Canadian route, and then we've got Jamie McElroy's favorite player, Rouse. Rouse is going down to Bristol. The kid's a prick, but he can play.
He's a good player.
He's a good fucking player, mate. He's a good player. He can play hockey. I had him at under 14s, under 16s. He used to come to my camps in the summer from Gosport, played Basingstoke Juniors. He was good. His mum was involved too much. He can shut her trap, sit in the stands and be quiet. I think that kind of had an influence on him as a younger, but he seemed to mature under Slava last year, and you got to give him props for that. We didn't have any incidents, no spitting, no nothing. He just dialed in and played some good hockey. I think there's a hockey player in there. There is a hockey player in there, and it could be a shrewd bit of business for Bristol. So shout out to them. Nick Corrick, injured last year, right when he was just getting going.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what this guy brings from a healthy season. I imagine he's worked his fucking nuts off this off season because when you get hurt, there's nothing worse. So you go in that gym in the summer and you've got a bit of you've got a bit of grit. Get through those workouts.
You can also say the same with Topshock as well.
Yeah, with Owen, yeah.
Injury. Those two fully fit. That's a lock point.
Yeah,
And that is a key for me. I think that plays a huge part in where Bristol will finish this year.
I think arguably their best pickup of the off season is Juha Lindgren. Now, some might say Bailey Hayward. Obviously, Bailey's going to be in the conversation, but Bailey was there last year. I'm talking about pieces they're bringing in. Juha, for me, is top 5 young Brit in the league, without a doubt. When we was going through our stages of doing stars of the week and players of the weekend and all that, that kid was right there.
Yeah.
He was in the conversation pretty much every week. Like you can't say enough good things about him. Bailey's going to be coming in confident. He got a nice preseason goal against the Belfast Giants the other day. I mean, if he can score against Besco, he can score against any fucking goalie in this league. If you can score against Besco, you can score against anybody in this league.
Job, yeah.
And then I like the signing of Christian Moore on a 2-way. Obviously, we had him down at the charity game. I hadn't seen him play in a couple of years. I know he'd been doing his thing with the Slough Jets organization. Mate, he looks good. He looks very good. And he's just scratching the surface of what's to come. This kid's going to be a player. I like him. I think I'm going to reserve my judgment on Bristol until we've been through all the other ones. I'm confident that Bracknell won't make it. So I don't mind saying that. But Bristol, they're going to be a fence team for me. They're going to be close. They're going to be in that battle. I mean, do I see Bristol finishing 7th or higher? No. Could they get the 8th? Maybe the 7th? Yeah, they could. But it's going to come down to loads of factors, and I'm sure we're going to touch on them as we continue to break it down. Interesting to see what happens with Adam Harding. The guy's missed a lot of hockey, but he can play. Now, are we going to get Adam Harding fit, or is someone going to run him in the first game of the season? And that's going to be all she wrote. It's interesting because there's obviously concussion issues prior. A year out, probably longer than a year out. And then you have COVID before that. So I'll be interested. Obviously, Adam spent a lot of time behind the bench last year and try to help out in other ways. But if he can come back and he can be 85% of the player he was, it's like a new signing completely for Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back when signed for Sheffield, went on the ice to train, didn't like it, didn't feel right because of concussion. Lindström. But he came back, he had some time up and he came back and tore the league a new one. And yeah, I wish Harding's a great player. I hope he can come back and be back to his full game or getting towards it. And another great signing. Well, great signing, he's been there, but
I know he's there, but yeah, it is like a new signing, mate.
Player. It's a key player, really.
Well, like I don't know, like imagine Baselow was still in the league next year, and then Adam Jones actually started playing some games. He'd been like a new signing, even though he'd been signed for Baselow all last year. He didn't play a game. So when you get a guy like that, it's like having new blood. You know what it's like. You bring Kucherov off injury reserve and he leads the playoff in fucking scoring. These things happen, and maybe Adam will have that bounce back and give Bristol that little thing they need to get over the edge. We're going to move on to Hull Seahawks. Very impressed with their off-season. They bring in an import D-man, Brock Bartholomew. I like the fact they've gone down the Canadian route. Deck Barmer, I've been watching him on his stories training this off-season. Kid's a fucking savage. Mate, he's strong. He's training hard.
Yeah.
Keep your heads up forwards because he's going to run you into the middle of next week. I can guarantee that.
Oh yeah.
They brought Liam Danskin in, Scottish lad. Still think obviously Tom Barry, he's going to do a job there. He had a good spell at Leeds. He guested a couple of games for Basingstoke last year after leaving Peterborough. He did bits when he went up to Leeds and he put up some decent points. So interesting to see how he goes. But I think where Hull have improved the most and by a considerable distance is offensively. Now, offensively, they've got Lee Bonner coming back. Bobby Chamberlain's going back. And then the return of Emil Svek, which is a huge signing. I think we're going to see even more good things out of him. Then they've gone with the North American route, bringing Bobby Young in, Canadian guy. He's going to run one of their center lines. I like the look of him. He's obviously played 4 years NCAA and he's coming straight here. I mean, he should be lights out. He should be lights out. You don't get a fucking job at an NCAA school for 4 years if you can't play hockey. It's just that simple. It's such a good standard. I know last year he didn't score a goal, so it's been a hot minute since he scored.
Was he
But
going to be a vicar or something? College
what
of the Holy
the
Cross? Is
Holy
that
Cross, yeah,
like a Jesus Army sort of place?
yeah, like religious school. I'm
No,
guessing.
no, really, is it? Like,
I
I
don't know.
genuinely
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine so. Um, the kid that I'm most looking forward to seeing on their roster this year is Owen Britton. I want to see what becomes of him. I was impressed a couple of times. I saw him live in person down in Basingstoke last year. I thought he put himself out a bit. Hull could be there or thereabouts in that playoff run. When I saw their initial roster, I thought maybe they would be in the kind of top half, but then Solway came in and they've got stronger. And then they announced Peacock, they get even stronger. Wildcats are strong. I don't know. It's going to be interesting as we go through this because it's been so long since we've actually looked at these rosters or done any of these roundup videos. I'm kind of at the loop. Leeds Knights, though, they are, for me, still the team to beat. Milton Keynes have obviously added a shit ton of talent, but they're the champions. They were champions for a reason. They've lost some pieces, but they still have Sam Gospel at the back. They brought in the young Chelmsford kid, Luca Tassadi. They got Harrison Walker. He's going on a two-way down with Widnes as well. And then their D last year was solid. They haven't changed too much. They've got Lewis Baldwin, Louis Colvin. That's interesting that they're putting Louis Colvin and D. I had him as a forward back in the Southwest days. Jordan Griffin, I like Jordan. Dylan Hare, I like him as well. Interested to see what this Noah McMullen, Canadian lad, is going to do. I imagine he's going to be asked to carry a lot of the load playing at the back there. And again, we talk about NCAA being good. U Sports is good as well. And he's coming out of 4 seasons playing in U Sports. I think that's a very good signing. 17 and 11 points the last couple of seasons. Very good signing for them.
Great
Again,
I want to jump in, mate, and just say
we've
gone about the Holy Cross, and now we're on to a guy called Noah.
straight on the Jesus bandwagon. Forward wise, they've got Josh Adkins, Canadian, just still a young lad, born in '95, so 28. He's going to be hungry. He's been playing France. He's playing out in Australia. He's going to be hungry for a shot in the UK because arguably I would say the NIHL is better than France too. Obviously, we know Australia's the dumpster fire. He played in the SPHL, 22 points in 54 games. Again, not the best standard, but it is pro in North America. Coming out of NCAA 3, he's gone on to go to pro. So it's a good mix. I think he's going to put some points up. You put him with the right players there in Leeds, and they're going to be really strong. I do like the look of Gregor Mills. I've watched this kid since he was fucking, I don't know, like 10. His old man's always been on the Twitter posting it all. Gone off to America, played 3 or 4 seasons out there, grown his game, looked okay when he played for GB. Aldi will have him fired up. Aldi will get him going. And then, I don't know. Arguably, actually, Leeds aren't as good as last year. Lost Sam Zajac.
Yeah,
it all comes down to these imports because what a good job.
Shudra, gone.
Shudra, he's gone. Yeah, he's a big piece. Hard to try and replace Shudra at that stage of the season. Obviously, with Alex's passing, Shud's going up to Sheffield. There isn't another guy like him you can just bring in that hadn't already been signed. And even that, well, there isn't another him. So it's a tough one. Obviously, they've gone 2 North Americans, got Josh Atkins, as I said, and then Matthew Barron. Couple of Canadians. I like the fact they go down the Canadian route. Very surprised to see him change it up. Although my man here played 45 games in the coast last year.
Yeah, there we go. It's going to be solid.
In his last year of Junior A in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, he put up 79 points in 52 games. The prior season, he put up 72 points in 49 games. So he's very much got something about him. That's obviously why Aldi was confident enough to get rid of Brooks, and the other lad they brung in, his name escapes me. Let me have a look. I really liked him as well, so I want to give him a shout out. Oh, Jake Witowski. I thought when
Oh, yeah.
the young American kid, I thought he did a very good job when he came in, but
Yeah.
they've changed, and with Leeds, I think it's all going to depend on how these imports are. Kieran Brown's going to Kieran Brown. Matt Howlett's going to Matt Howlett. Matty Hayward's going to Matty Hayward. Like the boys are still going to do their thing. It's all going to come down to the imports, and if their imports are as good on paper, are as good on a weekend as they are on paper, Leeds are going to be right in amongst it again.
Yeah, agreed. It's just Zach Brooks is a big loss. I really liked him. The game he played, physicality, points, had it all. Bit of a fan's favorite. So him not being back, like you said, it really is down to the new import. And yeah, the Baron looks really great. I like his TV. Looks really good. And Atkins is like one of these. He kind of like it could pull off, go really well, or it could
Yeah,
be average. We just don't know. It's the beauty of the new season, I suppose.
it could be getting
But
this
yeah,
P45 before long if he continues his scoring drought. I know that much.
here
Like,
we go.
there's three imports. It's going back to the old BHL days. If you can't skate, shoot, hit, score, you're going to be going on the
Uh,
plane because it's too much at stake now, and the clubs are ready. They're spending money. They're not going to let one bad egg, and I don't mean as a person. I just mean in terms of production, ruin their chances of winning the trophy. The team that probably made the most changes this offseason are Milton Keynes, and they've added Will Curlin to Jordan Headley at the back, which is exceptional, really, to bring him in, which is arguably going to be a 1B scenario. That's a good move. Defensively, obviously Malik going full time there. Nagsy's still there. Ross Green, Lewis Christie, and then they've got a few guys on two ways. They've added Ben Solder into the mix. He's gone up from Bristol. They've brought Ben Brown down from Dundee. So his first kind of step out the elite league, he's going to get a chance to get some really good minutes playing there. Still only 19, 36 games in the elite league last year, but you got to imagine the kid didn't touch the ice that much. So coming down here, he's going to be hungry to prove himself, and I think that's a shrewd bit of business for them. But it's the announcement of Robert Herman, huge signing. Then they've got both the Hamill boys on two ways. They've signed Dylan Lawrence, which I think the signing is very, very good. He had years with Dundee, Coventry, Fife, Edinburgh. He played at BU for 3 seasons. He's gonna have a bit about him in this league. He's gonna have way more time on the puck than he imagines ever playing the elite league. So Tom Rutkiss, Ross Venus, and Harry Gulliver. Milton Keynes' issue this year is going to be keeping everybody happy. 1,
agreed.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15. They're fucking 16 forwards on their roster. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are two ways. So obviously the Hamill boys might be away a little bit. Cassius McCormack is probably going to be playing down with the Thunder. Cole McCluskey, he's probably going to be playing down with the Thunder. Max Stewart's on a two-way. I don't imagine he's going to get used in Belfast that often. Same thing with the Hamills. I don't imagine they're going to get used that often, so they're most likely to be down MK. They're going to have a real problem keeping all those forwards happy. And that could be what cuts their throat this year.
you know what? I never saw it that way. Now that we've just looked at that and broke it down, I agree. There's stacked. So who do you pick? Like really, how do you go about it week in, week out? Because you're gonna have
Well,
to
who
drop
plays
someone.
PP1, who plays PP2, and then who doesn't play any PP?
Any PP, yeah.
Because you're going to have 3 or 4 good forwards there that ain't going to fucking get anywhere near as sniffing a shift on the PP. They're going to be pissed off. As much as they say, yeah, it's great for the team, and no, it's not. We're all selfish, whether you say it or not. Like, put it this way: if you're driving to the game with your old man or whatever, and you feel like you've been playing well enough to be on a PP and you're not on it, when you're driving home, you're going to be effing and jeffing. You're going to be fucking pissed off whether you won or lost. That grinds on you.
Yeah.
If that happens for 4 weeks, happens for 6 weeks, that grinds on you. And then, maybe Sean Easton picks up the phone. Hey, see you're not getting much PP time over there. Hey, how'd you fancy coming to Romford? Shep picks up the phone. Hey, we'll put you in every situation. You'll play X. And all of a sudden, heads start getting turned. I don't know. Milton Keynes are going to have an issue keeping everybody happy. Herman could be the dark horse of the year. We've had him on here. Great lad.
Great guy.
Obviously went down to Telford, sniped for fun. Playing on a better roster, I would say, than this roster here is better than Telford's roster last year for me. So I imagine playing on a better roster, more chances of winning every night. He's going to continue to put points up.
Yeah. Just looking at that list, it's just scary. Like, I know we keep going on about it, but like I'm trying to think who would you take out? Like, you have to take someone out.
I mean, what might end up happening is some of the young kids end up suffering because they're not going to play ahead of these veterans that are way better than them. You look at, so what did I say? There was 16 forwards on elite prospects for them. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whereas Peterborough's 12. And out of that, you've got 2 juniors in Denison and Kynaston. So really 10. 10 plus 2 juniors. There's a big difference. There's a lot less people to keep happy there. Obviously, they've gone with Sladowski again. They've gone with Padlek again. And they've got some interesting British players alongside them. You've got Schusters, Duncan Spears. I like both of those guys. And then they bring in Luke Ferrara, which is a very, very good sign at that level. Fed should score for fun down there. I mean, the way he scored in the Elite League, if he can transition back to his Coventry days for Peterborough, then he's going to be absolutely lethal in the National.
Yeah, agreed. And confidence boost as well, being back home. There's a lot going on with the family, with the baby on the way. I just think it's going to be a good time feeling for him mentally, going out there, just being close to home, being where he was starting his hockey, get the good times going again. Because last year there was something missing. And I think you just need to get things clicking again because you don't become a cricket player overnight.
No, absolutely not. And anyone that says so doesn't know what Luke Ferrara is capable of. I think what Peterborough really, really capitalise on is producing youth, and they've been doing it for years. Father's done a great job. I love Bradley Bowering. I think he's a great talent. They've also got Cal Buglas there, Scott Robson, Norton. Like, they're going to be very solid at the back. Marzi's obviously still going to be there. I don't know how many years that's been for Marzi now, but he must be clocking on for a testimonial pretty soon. He's been there a hot minute. And they've just they've shored up at the back. Whether they're going to be as good as last year, that leaves a lot to be seen. You lose Glenn Billen. Tough loss. I don't know how you replace him on any roster. There isn't another Glenn Billen in the league, if that makes sense. The way he plays very differently, and I like his game. I think Peterborough are going to be no danger making the playoffs. Will they trouble the top 4? Probably not.
No, I think when we just said about Milton Keynes and Corey McEwen, I think that's a huge loss for Crampton.
Fuck! I completely forgot about him. This is what I'm talking about. So, right, you got Wallace and the other imports, yeah. one D man, one forward. So you got two there, yeah. Then you bring in Gulliver, you bring in Rutkish, you bring in McEwen, you start rattling off the names. People are going to be missing out on PP time, and that is going to upset the apple cart. And that's Tim Wallace going to have a job in his hands. That's what I'm saying. Especially as a player coach, that would be hard enough to juggle when you're a bench coach. But to be playing and then have to try and juggle that, that's going to be very tough for them. But that being said, they're going to be in no danger of making the playoffs, and most likely will make Coventry as well. Like they're going to be fine. I think that defensively they're solid. In goal they're solid. Up front they're a joke. Milton Keynes arguably probably look a little bit stronger than Leeds for me right now, but we need to see some hockey games to see how it's actually going to work out. Raiders, they lose Gulliver, but they pick up the aforementioned Norcliffe. They pick up Zach Milton, Basingstoke. Probably Basingstoke's two best pieces that were available British-wise, and they've nabbed them both. I like their decor. Their decor are very similar. They could have been doing with maybe just another top end Brit in there defensively. I think they've got very steady D, but no one that screams out like, "Yo, this guy's going to get 45 points." It's just not going to happen unless it happens to be Pierre-Luc Lorette.
Yeah.
He could have the potential to be that defenseman that comes on the scene and puts some points on the board. I mean, his numbers in U Sports don't suggest that it would be, but his numbers in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League suggest that he could well be. Like, obviously, he was just very close to being in the queue, like a couple of seasons where he had a game or 3 or 2 or whatever it may be. But then obviously wasn't quite ready for major junior. But junior A, he goes back down there, 33 points in 50, 41 points in 50, 48 points in 48.
Do you think he changed his role? Do you think he'd gone forward?
Potentially. I mean, we do see forward stepping back into D. But I would still expect a bit more of an offensive upside had that been the case. What I would most likely imagine is he was the stud on that roster and he was playing every minute, and then he goes to U Sports and now you're playing 6th, 7th D. It's completely different. Plus, U Sports being a lower scoring league, there's lots of factors at play, and the major factor for me would be ice time. Also, if you're then playing against teams' top lines, maybe he's a shutdown guy now. Maybe he skates very well. And until we see these guys, this is why this isn't a proper prediction. Once we've had a weekend or two, we'll come back on it. We'll give you our predictions once we've seen some hockey and actually see what the imports are like. Otherwise, we're just blind picking right now. Obviously,
interested to see him at the back though. 100 kilos, 6'3".
Yeah, bit of a lump. They've gone down the North American route forward again. They brought Leishman back. I think that's a good signing. And then Blaho, he's there again. I think actually Raiders have probably improved their roster on last year.
Yeah,
I look forward to seeing Nick Lear play. He's going to have a bit about him. He's had some good stats. He's played in Hockey Etan, played in the NIHL, which is NIHL. Joe Greener played over there back in the day. 20 points in 34 games there. 9 points in 15 games in Hockey Etan. I think he's going to slot in fine. Will he be better than Piatak? Will he be better than... We've had him on here. Matty Gomerick. I don't know. But there's one way to find out. Let's watch the guy play a couple of games and we'll see how he looks. But obviously, Aaron Connolly's still there. He's a huge player for them. Mikey Power, he gives you that sandpaper finish, a couple of tilts here or there for good measure. I think the Raiders are going to be that team that nobody wants to go to. They're going to be hard to play against. They've got a lot of offensive threats. They've got goals from all over the ice. I would imagine they will comfortably qualify for the playoffs.
Given really that roster, the fact they've strengthened, gone on the back of quite a good end to last season, yeah, more than capable. And they've got some great young guys on that squad as well, which are going to have another season under their belt and a lot to prove.
Can you turn your volume up on your mic just a touch? Sorry, guys, while he's doing that, let's take a
Can you hear
minute.
me now?
Hear me now. Let's take a minute to
Good.
remind you to like this video, to subscribe, to share, do all that good stuff. And also to let you know that you could, well, not technically sponsor, but you could help us out by going to buymeacoffee/4000 and counting. It all helps. There's some European trips on the horizon you may have seen on our social media. We'll be doing a video about that very, very, very soon. And we'll be kind of telling you what it's going to be like. But if you can imagine, ice hockey travel channel slash podcast chucked in with team players from teams all across Europe, from Bern to Berlin to Munich to Bratislava to Nitra. Yeah, let's go. And we're gonna have some fun. And we're gonna take you guys with us. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come on, you know it makes sense. Right, Sheffield Steel Dogs. Sheffield Steel Dogs. Don't really know what to say. They haven't really done anything. I love the dogs. They know that.
Yeah.
But they've pretty much done fuck all. But they might have been a little bit busy trying to get their asses in the league after getting kicked out of the league. There's been an ownership change, so it's not been totally quiet at Sheffield's end. But in terms of bringing new bodies in, losing guys, they've lost Bonner. That's a stinger. Tim Smith's back from his MCL surgery, so that's huge. He's had 20 weeks, maybe even longer, on rehab right now.
Would say 20% or 20 weeks, sorry.
20 weeks since he, maybe even longer. But I was reading a post they put out yesterday. They talked about like being in a cast, not a cast, in a brace for like 12 weeks, and then 8 weeks of physio, and then 8 weeks of physio post having brace. So he's been really doing his rehab. Shout out to him for that. Defensively, still solid. Hayward, Kirk, Morg, Smithy, Belly, Turner, Dermott. They're going to be fine. Defensively, they've added Daniel Crowe, which is a massive upgrade on last year's backup. Might actually see Z getting to have some rest games, which will be huge. Obviously, he's been one of the most consistent goaltenders over the last 10 years that the EPL/NIHL/NIHL National has seen. He's been there. His numbers, go look at them for yourself. They're mega consistent. He's always there or thereabouts. Forward-wise, obviously, but before his untimely death, Alex had already left. He'd already left to go to the Steelers. So there was a hole to fill there. Then Bonner leaves to go to Hull. There's a hole to fill there. Have they replaced those players? Well, they've signed Jonathan Phillips. I mean, he's pretty good at hockey. But I also don't think that he offers you the offensive upside that either Bonner or Alex Graham do. And that's not to say that Jono won't score 60 points this year. It's not to say he won't, because, I mean, I would bet money on it.
Start that game.
But exactly. Jono's the best shutdown guy in the league. He's great on face-offs. He's fucking unbelievable on the penalty kill. He's an absolute workhorse. Am I expecting Jono to go out and get 100 points this year? No, I'm not. But a very fit.
He would die on the ice for you. That's what.
Oh yeah, 100%. He'd die for a logo on the front. Would you be surprised to see Huey now have to pick up the pieces as player coach, knowing that they've lost Alex, knowing that they've lost Bones, put the team on his back and go back to the 100-point mark again this year? I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
It's got that in him. He's got that in him. He's going to have that sort of fuck you attitude and go and do it.
Yeah. Obviously, Biz, concussion issues over the last couple of years, getting smoked in the head probably didn't help. And the MK fiasco that happened down there, missed 10 games, I believe. He's getting back amongst it. Obviously, offensively, might be the best playmaker in the league. How he can see a pass and how he can dish, he might be there or thereabouts as the best playmaker in the league. Now, I'm sure John, I could fucking shove it right up my hoop here. Because if they play him on a line with Biz, he could get 35 goals. Like, he could get 35 goals, because if you go to the right place, which Jono does, and you put your stick on the ice which he does, and you protect the space or the puck with your body, which he does, all exceptionally well, not going to be very difficult to score because Bissonnette can put a puck on a sixpence anytime you want. Backhand, forehand, long pass, short pass, behind the net, from a tight button hook on the high pivot, anything that you want, he can dish you. So I don't know. Dogs are always going to be tough to beat in Sheffield. They're so good defensively. Z's so good. I don't think they're going to be as good on the road this year. You lose that Lee Bonner running everybody over vibe. It's going to sting. You lose Alex Graham pulling people's pants down with forehand, backhand, through the leg dangles. That's tough as well. But shout out to Sheffield Steelers for putting the number 21, AG, number 21 in the centre ice. I think it might just have been AG, actually, maybe not 21. That's our logo. Not shout out to Sheffield Steelers for spelling Sheffield wrong on your fucking sponsor's logo. You absolute weapons. Absolute weapons. Even when you took the picture, did nobody go, there's 2 F's in Sheffield? No? No? Everyone's going to let that one slide? Let that one slide right down? If I'm that sponsor, I'm like, what is going on? But Mac had a good point on Twitter. Could it be the biggest Jedi mindfuck ever, where it's like, if that just says Sheffield, yeah, normal, maybe 100,000 accounts on X see it. Spell Sheffield wrong, 3 million accounts see it. For a little bit of paint, it ain't a bad 2.9 million increase on your views on your Twitter for spelling a name wrong, but I just wish they hadn't done it when they were announcing that Alex photo. Maybe they could have waited a hot minute and gone, do you know what? We'll do this Alex photo and we'll announce it, but we're going to spell Sheffield right first.
Agreed. It was the right idea, but just could have executed it a little bit better in that respect.
What I want to know is, though, because all the teams from NIHL to Elite League to National Hockey League, i.e. the NHL, everybody loves that ice painting time lapse. Everybody does. Did not one of those motherfuckers that were in that entire building go, Sheffield's got 2 F's, lads?
Like, I think they've got over like 1,000 logos to paint, so they probably went dizzy.
Yeah, they're probably like that. It's probably 4 a.m. They're painting their 9 millionth logo on the ice, and they're just like, I'm just going to put 1 F. That's enough. I've had enough. 1 F's enough. It's piss poor, but they corrected it straight away. And shout out to them for that, because a lot of teams would have probably, if that was Basingstoke, they would have probably had to go, sorry, lads, we can't risk pulling the ice up again and not freezing it again. So you just have to be the buffer and just make words up because they can't spell. But it was basically spell checked by me, and that's not the person you want spell checking your on ice sponsorship logos. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm the last person it should be spell checking or proofreading anything. Someone up, this makes a 9,500 seat arena. Is there no governor on site? There must be a governor on site, surely. They just went, you've spelt that wrong. Do it again. And by the way, I can't imagine how much extra work that was. Like, that's a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not quite as bad as spelling a tattoo wrong, because it's fixable.
Yeah, true.
It's up there. Anyway, we've done the dogs. That must take us to the Cats. Swindon Wildcats, Glenn Billing, bang. Maybe one of the signings of the off-season for me. Love what Glenny brings to a roster. He's obviously added massive offensive output in the last couple of seasons. I believe, what did he finish on, like 80 points last year? His numbers were very good, and I think I've skipped ahead of Solway, but we'll come back to Solway.
No, that's okay.
So Glenn Billings' points total last year. Let's have a look.
It was around 80, wasn't it?
I was close, 79.
Oh,
that's league games. If you then chuck it, fucking hell. If you chuck in the 37 points he got in the cup, He was over 100 point season, so I think he did all right. I like the signing of Tyler Perry as their backup. Again, teams getting stronger in the backup. Curling now, Crow, and then Tyler Perry. There's teams that are going right. We need more than one guy to pull on the rope at the back, and with Bristol going a different route netminder wise, with the Bees going a different route netminder wise, it's left guys without a job, which actually and then has in turn made the stronger team stronger by giving them a really good second option. And he's right up there with that. I can't wait to see Gail Librelli play for Swindon.
It's going to be fun.
Well,
Very fun.
they loved me there. They loved Max Probert there.
Yeah.
Well, get ready for the black version. Gail's got running guys in his blood. He's got he wants to run guys over every single hit. Shit, I bet that guy finished hit and warm up. Like he plays hockey the right way for me. Did he get penalized a little? Let's have a look at his stats. Did he get penalized a little bit unfairly last year? Yeah, probably on 80% of the hits that he threw. Do I want him to take less than 135 pins if he's one of my imports? Absolutely. But if you rock as many guys as he does, there's going to be scrums. You're going to get kicked out of games here or there. So 135 is a bit of a false number. You probably get 2 kick out of games there. They're 25 and 25. There's 50. You're down to 85 straight off the bat. Like he's not taking megas and minors. Very much like when I played, a lot of the penalties that I was taking, someone's coming with me. I'm not going on my own. And that is a big difference. But I wasn't an import. He's an import. Now, as an import, he needs to be able to put up numbers offensively, which 76 points in 54 games last year on a, let's face it, shit Bison team. I was going to be nice. I was going to be nice and say they're average, but they weren't even that good. They weren't that good. He's going to do bits there. Balint Podolski, I love this kid.
Yeah.
I love this kid. He's got so much about him. Reed Sayers, he improved a hell of a lot. Colby Towers got his boy Gale there from college. Is that gonna spark him up a little bit? The one thing that gets me the worst about Swindon, please take Eddie Bebris out of D.
Oh, D.
Please. Yeah. But Eddie's not bothered because he's going to play until he's fucking 65 because nobody goes near him. He's like, I'll just play forever, man. I saw it for his testimonial. So easy way. So easy. I'm like, yeah, so easy. You don't have to do anything. Like, it's whereas offensively, like, he's a horse.
Yeah.
You put him to work in corners, put him to work in front of the net. Personally, I would I think I've said this on this podcast enough times before now. I think Russ Cowley's a fantastic D-man. Filled in some time at Basingstoke when Jonesy was injured. He's older, more natural, just chill there. Either way, I'd still want him on my forward lineup, but if I had a choice, I would switch those two and have Eddie up front and Russ Cowley at the back. Aaron Nell, I mean, what does it say about Aaron? We know the guy scores goals for fun, and no matter what level you put him at and who he's playing against, if you give him that half a second to get that shot off, it's very, very difficult to stop. His release is so fast.
Honestly, he's like the national equivalent of Aitken.
He is. Yeah, that's a fair comparison. Aaron doesn't have the best shot, i.e. the hardest. But it's on and off of his fucking stick. It's on and off of his stick. Like, boom. Don't have time to set. It's a quick release and it's heavy. It's heavy. Like you block shots sometimes, you go, oh, that was hard. And you go, oh, that was a fucking heavy one. The hard one, that'll bruise like your VMO. That'll bruise your quad, yeah? Oh,
that's what she said.
Yeah. The hard one will bruise your quad. The heavy one will bruise your femur. And the hard one could be 10 or 15 mile an hour quicker than the heavy one. But it's weird. Some people shoot the puck heavy. You fans probably hear it when guys are warming up and they'll ding a puck off the glass. or the boards. Sometimes when like a player misses and it hits the mid board, it goes. You're like, whoa. Yeah. Imagine that hitting you in the thigh. Oh, I've done it twice now. What a sausage. Yeah, imagine that hitting you in the thigh. That's what a heavy shot feels like. And surprisingly, one of the most painful shots I ever got hit by, it was a Bracknell Thursday night off-season training, having a skate, and Greg Owen stepped over the blue line. I was playing D for some stupid reason, and he hit me in the ankle with a snapshot. Not even a
That's not
slap,
fun.
just a little. Again, quick off the stick. So heavy. I thought he blew my ankle off my foot. Honestly, probably only going 75 mile an hour. I say only 75 mile an hour. Still a puck hitting you in the ankle at 75 mile an hour. But yeah, but like versus, I bet Aaron's snapshots 86, 87. Like, it's quick. Steve Murray, he was another one because he was so sly with his drawback on it. So when he came back, boom, and then it was gone. And it was quick. It wasn't overly hard, but it was quick. I'm just gonna bypass that. Sam Bullis back there once again because obviously Bully's going for double testimonial. I think he's going to be there until they bury him in Swindon. He's like the mayor of Swindon now, and one of my favourite teammates, one of the best guys you ever play with. Proper glue guy in that locker room. Hopefully he's rallying the troops. They maybe get a couple more team nights out this year because I hear it was pretty poor for nights out in Swindon last year, which is disappointing because guys, even speaking to Tony, this goes away very quickly. Might not seem like it when you're on a grind up to Manchester and Sheffield and Solway and everywhere on a bus. But let me tell you, once you're done, it's different. Everyone's got kids, you got work, you got blah, blah, blah. Enjoy it, get some team nights out in, have fun with the boys, and you got the best venue right there, Harvester, right next to the rink. Post Thursday practice, couple of pints with the boys, always good fun just to keep it loose. I remember when I played there, like Aaron and Steve now. I've never seen anyone eat as many Dominoes in my life as Aaron now and still be lean, like ridiculous. Just 6'3", just eat whatever he wants. Solway Sharks, Mark. Right.
We start with it.
Well, where are we going to start? I'm going to start at the end, actually. I asked John Strange for a prediction, and I'm going to ask you for one.
Yeah.
Did they finish top 4?
Yes.
Oh, that's easy. Oh, I thought there might be a little bit more thought going into that.
I'm going top 3. I reckon they finished third.
The third?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let them play a couple of games. I'm up there in a couple of weeks, so I'll be there on the 1st of October. Sharks fans, come say hello. That's what I look like. I'll probably have some more clothes on. Maybe not. Depends how the day goes. Depends how the day goes. Maybe I'll wear a kilt. We'll see. Oh, maybe I'll wear a kilt. I like an excuse to wear a kilt. A kilt and a 4,000 and counting shirt. That'll get some YouTube views. But yeah, like I want to see what they're all about. But as I said, that top line potentially super dangerous. Then you're going to add Barry McKenzie and his veteran leadership into the mix. Very good. Liam Stenton. I love this kid. I think he's going to be exceptional. He's still like a child, really. What is he, 20? He's got a lot of development left to do. He's going to go on to bigger and better things. He'll be back in the Elite League before no time. Obviously, huge opportunity for him to come home back to Dumfries and play within what is his childhood club. And this new structure, it's exciting. You go top 3 then, Mark?
I am, yeah. I'm going to put it out there and say they're going to finish third.
Oof. That would upset the apple cart a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just here to piss on everyone's cornflakes. Mate, it's going to be tough to go up there and get a victory. I think a big part of it, obviously we know Hepburn can do it at the lower level. We don't know too much about Warburton. We know obviously Steelers obviously think enough about him that they signed him, but we also know that the backup goalie or the British goalie in the Elite League position don't really fucking matter. You just got to be happy to turn up Tuesday to Friday and then get on a bus at the weekend knowing that you're never going to play a game. Are they going to be able to share the workload at National? Well, Hepburn played a couple of games for Leeds. Played a game for Leeds, not for Leeds, against Leeds for Peterborough.
Yeah.
Yeah, did a good job. From all that watched the game, they seem to be impressed with him. So there's nothing to say that both those goalies won't go and do a great job for them. Defensively, I don't know too much about a lot of their guys. Obviously, they spent a lot of time in that league, but I do know Liam Stenton's a stud. Everyone talks about Struan being just
Yeah.
like a veteran leader. I've seen these guys play
Yeah.
against Streatham, right? So I have seen them play, but not enough to like comment on their ability or anything like that. I'm really intrigued by their defenseman signing, coming from Canada, um, playing 4 years in U Sports, but he's basically not played much hockey. He's played 26 games since 2019. Obviously, COVID being a part of that, and then only playing 4 games 2021, 21, 22, and then 22 games last year. All U Sports though. So again, we're seeing teams signing guys from U Sports all across the Elite League now. It's a regular occurrence. It's not a shock. It's never a shock when like a U Sports guys goes to the Elite League now, is it? So the fact that the National getting in on that mix, I like that. Then they've got a good mix forward wise of guys that were already there and
Yeah.
very good additions. Peacock, Bidoff, or Alderson, depends on what profile you're watching. Dunbar and Mackenzie. So they've added some very good bits. Where I think they might fall down is some of the guys they have up there probably aren't National League standard just yet. But that's because they've not been playing in the National League. They've been playing in a National one. Now they're talented hockey players. They can very quickly get up to that National League standard. And I think if they do, look out for Solway Sharks. They are going to be horrible to play against up there. Let's have a little under over. It's been a hot minute since we've done one of them. Ross, the boss, Murray, the sixth time. Under or over 7 tilts for the year?
Under or over? Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with 7.
Just to be a dick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
go.
basically to be big.
I'm gonna go over. I think he's going to be spicy this year. He looks social media. He's dialing it up. He's pumping the crowd up. He's got the Coliseum in the background. He's giving it the big one. By the way, I love Ross, but if I played against him after he put the Coliseum picture up, first shift I get him. Me and him are gonna have a square go. Like we're having a square go. I know there's a lot less guys in the league like that now. Maybe he'll have less takers than he would have 10 years ago. But I like the fact that they've got him on the roster. Nolan Gardner, I'm intrigued by him. Obviously, we know what John Dunbar is going to do. But yeah, Nolan Gardner, Ottawa 67s in the OHL, three-part seasons there. Then 8 games, obviously got traded across to the Quebec Major Junior League. And then he went down to the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League, 46 points in 48 games his last season, wearing the A there. And then, like many others, 4 years at U Sports. Now, again, numbers don't flatter but 3 plus 8, 11 points, 22 games, you're getting half a point a game at a very low scoring league. Once he's in this league, it's going to be different. So let's say they go with my line that I like.
Yeah.
Then that second line, you chuck Scott Henderson on a line with Barry McKenzie and Nolan Gardner. It's a good line as well. Now you got a whole bunch of Scottish kids battling it out for that third and fourth line, which is going to create like a competitive nature within the squad. I like it.
I think they've got a good balance. That's why I like them and favour them to be about third. I know I haven't seen them yet, but they've got some, like you say, young Scottish kids coming through. They're going to be given ice time, and then you've got the likes of someone like Barry McKenzie to guide them.
Yeah.
Perfect situation.
something we haven't touched on without any of this episode, which we will do over the next couple of weeks, is we'll start looking at the coaches. But coaching wise, we know Solway are in good hands. We know Hull are in good
Yeah.
hands. We know Dogs are in good hands. Like, there's a lot of good coaches within the league. I'm intrigued to see how it pans out. Last team, folks. Last team, but not least, our good friends over at the Telford Tigers. Shout out to all the 4,000 and counting 3.0 charity game winners. It pretty much was Telford Tigers and myself. Like, but what a great bunch of lads. We had Henry, we had Deeks, we had Pricey, Scotty Mack. I mean, we were lacing it up and running it out, and we smashed it. And for those that have missed it, we sent £4,010 to both Royal Marsden, and we sent £4,010 also to My Name is Dodie. A couple of jerseys left to go. Once they sell, money will go there. So I think by the time all the jerseys and everything's done, all said and done, it's 8,100 quid. So shout out to you savages for that. Also, next year, charity game, Solway in June and Slough in August. Potentially going to be bringing you something massive. And we're going to be rolling back the years. We're going to be getting the entirety of the UK involved. And then once we've done that, hopefully 3 charity games, all the money we raise next year will be going more fundraising than charity. And off the back of that, we're going to be putting on junior tournaments throughout the UK, 6 hours of ice getting donated to put single day tournaments on up and down the entirety of the UK. Shout out to all the clubs that have been in touch. We have, I'm not going to guess, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly what we have. We already have 10 teams signed up, 10 ice rinks across the country signed up. Now, a couple of those ice rinks rates are so good that we will probably host 2 tournaments at their rinks. But there's still the minimum tournaments we want to put on is 16 tournaments. That's our very minimum end. So look out for all the charity game details. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're following all of our channels. It's all going to be across there. Back to the Telford Tigers, though. Scotty Mack, he's back. They have lost Rory Herman, but they've brung in a fellow Yank, Brady Hepner. Still, Hugh Hefner, yeah. So they're bringing Brady in. He's played the last 3 seasons in SPHL. His numbers pretty good. 2 seasons ago, he put up 43 points in 54 games. Last season, he put up 21 points in 37 games. He went and had a cup of coffee down under with the Sydney Ice Dogs, 10 points in 8 games. He's going to do very well in this league, I believe. St. John's University and the NCAA, pretty much a point a game at Division 3. I like the sign of that. They've also signed Jesse Sutton, Canadian forward, 98 born. He's had time at U Sports, and then prior to U Sports, he played for the Quebec Ramparts for 4 seasons in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and also Shukatini, I can't say the name, but also in the Quebec League. So you don't play 5 years Major Junior in the Quebec Major Junior League if you're a mug.
Yeah.
Like you simply don't. We're done with the Knuckle Dragon days. There's no one just there to make up numbers. I think that's a good sign. Finley Howes, very good player. Zane McKenzie, interesting to see what becomes of Zane. He's going to get a lot more freedom and a lot more ice time over there in Telford on a 2-way still with Nottingham Panthers, I believe. Telford are going to be all right. They're actually, out of all the rosters, when you look at it and go, low-key, they've been quiet this summer, but they've added some nice bits and their imports look good. I don't feel confident enough, Mark, right now to go into predictions at the end of this video. I would like to roll it back after a couple of weeks and see how the new guys look, because ultimately, if you don't know what the imports are like, we're guessing here. We're basing it on that they've come from U Sports and the Coast and the SP and good leagues, and they've played X, Y, and Z at junior. But I would much rather see them. We know what the Brits boys can do.
Yeah,
We know
agree.
when
That's
we know.
why.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
Why with Spotways actually, I tried to work things out. I was like, I can't. Like, the only team I put on my list is Spotway third. I haven't done anyone else.
Okay.
I think
Well,
we have to. You're right. You have to see how it goes. It could be a couple of exhibition games. It doesn't work out. There's some switches. There's some changes. You never know, do you?
no. But ladies and gents, the weekly roundup is back. That means that we will be free flowing from now until playoff time at the end of April. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notification bell. Never miss an episode. If you want to help us out, go to buyersacoffee/4000 account, and you can do that right there. Go and check out the legend that is Tony Hand's episode. I will put it right in the end video somewhere around, I don't know, here, probably. Click that right now. Honestly, he talks some great points. We find out who he thinks is the best British player, obviously, other than him. You know what I mean? Like, it's like asking him. But it was interesting. We find out some of the best players he's ever played with. We find out his thoughts on the import numbers. We find out his thoughts on the dual nats within the Great Britain national team and a whole heap else. But for now, this has been 4000 Accounting. I've been Watty. That's been Mark. Peace.